Need more of these videos, not Egypt all day. There's hundreds of Chinese pyramids to explore, but they are purposefully hidden. Why? YouTuber in the know says, because their egotistical history agenda would crumble. The beautiful drone footage at the bottom of the screen is by a Come to China agency. Sadly, their stance of the maximum age of any of their pyramids are, I quote, 841 BC and no plan to exhume, end quote. Well, that just doesn't hold mercury. What about the Neolithic Hongshan culture? 4,900 to 6,900 years ago, as we have in the English but unsourced Wikipedia. Care to ratify that, or can any Chinese translator source an as old or older citation? We all need to be true to our real history, learn from it, or bad history will repeat itself and bite us all. Like near the terracotta warriors and further compact earthen burial and group graves of the shackled slaves or criminals and other mercurial poisoning of the ground. Clearly not cremation style of a true Vedic period, when the whole world was Bharat and before that Ilyavarta. Sharing the same architectural Shastra guidebooks for global pyramids, China has already a separate monolith of 16,000-ton rock, a soft mummy and extraordinary metallic relics, vast man-made caverns cutting out millions of tons of rock. So although we see beautiful bronze, gold and jade works, we need them opened up. Even Ireland has mounds older than mainstream Giza. We know China has 20,000-year-old Xianrendong pottery. So come on, you can do better. We all can. The word pyramid is ancient Greek. Its meaning is not about its shape. It means that which is seen on the horizon. Pyramids on every continent, tens of thousands of them if you count recorded giant burial mounds of America, and 1,000 or 2 across the Americas. Shape isn't everything. It can be stepped like England and the Americas, armed like Middle Eastern ziggurats, or small but Kurukshetra age like Greece. Kurukshetra battle was World War Zero, a little over 5,100 years ago, when masonry knowledge was better and civilization became globally uncivil due to global usurpation. As 53 world kings died and the naturally Kali Yuga age soon began. China will have these records, as did Tibet, so knew Megasthenes. For as long Tibet could defend and hide themselves, that is. It is sad that 357 years ago, Athanasius Kircher wrote about Chinese pyramids, yet we are hardly none the wiser, given that time frame. Imagine how many more terracotta warriors would grace world history, and I'm sure it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's not that China doesn't create a pyramid museum for Han Yangling, it's just the West is itching to see more and know more, so allow more YouTuber drones. As for ancient Chinese pipes that some commenters ask about, I'm a geologist, so I'd have to reserve judgment until I get round to picking through the bad images of modern rusted pipes versus fossilized roots or trunks, versus discordant magmatic intrusions and what looks to be one artificial intelligence image of holes cut through a natural picture of magmatic columnar jointing. However, I am intrigued to track down the rumor of radioactive material passing through a, let's face it, necessary complex water system that befits such megalithic splendor. Using Google Earth Overlay, one can see very interesting city names using a 1700s map. If one is patient with Google Lens Translator, that is, we do have to be aware that northern India, despite having no problems with radioactive dust, it does have a serious uranium contamination issue in the water supply, especially in Haryana and Punjab areas. So if anyone can comment if it's a natural source or know if there is a signature especially compared to Kurukshetra, that would be great. I've asked around regarding legendary Chinese dynasties, but they are not as orderly as Egyptian or Irish archaeologically named eras, let alone the preserved cyclical history of the Vedas. Here is a flash of 101 Chinese pyramids on Wiki so far. It does include mounds, but not 86 burial pits. I will break down, not reading out every name of emperor, empress, or princess that may be tied to a much more ancient pyramid but with a modern graffiti to claim it. I will note the sparse data of specification around the provinces of Henan and Shaanxi, like 76-meter-tall pyramid at Lintong, while Maoling has only 47 meters high, but is an impressive part of a complex of 20 pyramids. A bit more than 18 Tang pyramids at Wei River. Western Chia only has 9, but we understand it is over 50 square kilometers. Aware there are some meager Western accounts in between. Speculative pilots, a crystal capstone sounds great, but no physical version found, unfortunately. I think the British Museum holds a Chinese ginger-haired mummy. Answer in the comments if you have been collecting Google Earth pyramid coordinates. I hope hobbyists can club together their files. I recommend free Discord app for structured communication and data for all to see. That way, may get to the bottom of whether China is making new pyramids for museum or a hidden silo reason. Chinese have regreened the Dar Desert after all. Could pyramids help in that, or just licorice solar panels and a well-managed water system? I know this video style is unique. Well, like and subscribe if you would like to see more of this. Let's look at pyramids they won't teach at school. I visited Egypt, Mexico, and Ireland for pyramids and mounds, yet this tiny country has excavated at least 50. In theory, Belize means the way to Itza, which is in Mexico. I've collated pyramids over decades, so can say Wiki's collection is terrible. I was going to start alphabetically, but there is too many fakes. Separating the wheat from the chaff. Australia has no real pyramids. Gympie was a fraud, unfortunately. You can read all about that here. The Decades of Lies. Ball's Pyramid is a collapsed volcanic sea cone, so isn't the kind of pyramid we're looking for. Neither is this at Balandian, but it would be a beautiful addition to anyone's garden. Likewise, the 4 pyramids listed in Canada are just modern engineering structures. So back to Belize. I'll try not to duplicate the same pyramid like this one being the first. Others have the same design, so it's hard. Wiki will give you a total of 2 pyramids, but very well-researched maps show multiple pyramids within complexes. From this master historian, who set up the Mayan Ruins website for explorers to chip in their pics. Why not like and sub us both if you want more? Lamanai has some pyramids lurking in the shadows. Stelas are the common stone pillars with the Mayan glyphs. It depends whether the tropical canopy is cut back. These faces preserve the real stone behind them. A little taller, Jaguar Temple catching the sun. These were all just hills 100 years ago, sometimes never even investigated. A special Masonic and Hindu height number for a long cubit. These are just 2 complexes, Lamanai and Caracol. But Caracol redefines what is a city, as 177 kilometers squared is bigger than the current capital of Belize. Pyramids often face each other around a plaza. I can probably see more pyramids from their model, but I'm just showing what pictures were easy to sample. Note that ziggurat style are pyramids too. Some pictures are kept small to fit more in one shot, and to show the effort of the historian's write-up. Having 70 chambers to one building is not unusual for the Americas that have underground tunnel connections too. Caracol is a modern Spanish name for the winding snail-like access road. Coincidentally, shells were sacrificed. A third complex clearly shows 4 pyramids in one shot, but there are always more. 16-meter height is quite common at Altun, Ha, and others. Their bank stores the real jade head, and Google Earth will show new pyramids dug out. Cahal Pech is shown by another international helper. Sometimes maps have to come from other languages. The trees race to have a competitive edge for sunlight and were likely planted by perching birds. As with the rest of the archaeological world, not enough people to clean up 1,000 to 3,000 years of build-up. Mayans loved their symmetricality and wide steps. Plenty of jewelry and ornaments have been found. Double pyramids with a different style, like good neighborhoods with unique tastes. Thus ends the 7 here as the rain rolls high. Now lawn maintenance is an issue. Notice no fear of trees destroying reparations. Cerros also has 7. Many start looking this way, looking like a muddy pile of stones but a semblance of a mound. These are actually the same after than before, meaning the faces were protected by pasted rock rather than trees. 176 features when counting every monolith, tomb, or deep stairway. The top point hold most of the extant pyramids. Not an easy task to build such a heavy monument up such a height, but it beats starting from the bottom just to build a giant masterpiece. Lubaantun, infamous for its Mitchell Hedges crystal skull forgery, does at least have parallel stones subsiding in the middle. This is actually the same two pyramids, but the copper-like trees above are curious as the winged cloud in the previous picture. So straight into the saddest 5 remaining at Santa Rita, Corozal, the rest picked apart and even bulldozed, a total disregard for this land's known ancestors. At least some early artists made a replica of the murals that have all been obliterated from here, but at least some remain at all. Such a tall pyramid is mentioned here, but I doubt this is the tall one. Technically, Nimli Punit is a pyramid complex, but there's not even photographic proof of one 11-meter terrace that looks high enough, nor on Wiki. But an image search seems to reward with 3 in 1 shot, with thatch protecting Stela from modern destruction. The last complex found so far, Xunantunich, as usual groups together pyramidal sites. Just in 7 square kilometers, they look like this, compact yet grand. Ball courts as standard. This is an example A11, which looks like a whitewashed example of the following. A13, same form, but not an issue of polluting or flaking paint if the structure number is constant. The website, although of greatly compressed quality, helped disseminate which pyramids are which. From non-grassed to well-kept. Behind the tropical palm seems to be a rare complete pyramid apex. Triple pyramids aligned together, plus a turfed mound looking more like Irish Noth or Newgrange winter solstice mounds. The very top not excavated yet, it must be hard enough trimming the area like a golf course. 3 pyramids in shot. Finally, the beautifully carved horizon. There are super high definition pictures out there, but it's great to have people in shot to show relative scale. So that's 50 shown from Belize on the east of this map. There are hundreds more to explore. When averaging 7 pyramids per complex, you can imagine how many are adjacent in Honduras, El Salvador, and especially in Guatemala. Belize may well be the way for the shamans to speak to the gods at this astronomically observed peninsula of the Deers. What of the great tribes to the west, across thousands of miles of Mexico for jade trinkets, masks, and chest plates? So imagine at least 420 more in Mexico alone, and ask yourself, why were we taught just about Giza?